Inside the Classroom is brought to you by NYSUT, a union of more than 600,000 professionals dedicated to education, human services, and healthcare. NYSUT is proud to partner with parents in advocating for what students need. We stand for excellence in public education from preschool through post-grad. Find us online at nysut.org.
We get you started early. We stay with you in middle school. We see you through graduation, college, and beyond, realizing potential every step of the way. We're New York State United Teachers, 600,000 professionals dedicated to excellence in public education. But that's not all. We also provide healthcare and human services to New Yorkers of all ages. We're NYSUT, caring for patients, working for students, working with our communities.
Hi, welcome to another edition of Inside the Classroom. I'm Ashli Dreher, and I'm here today with Renee Brady. She is a STEAM coach at the Tonawanda City School District. Welcome, Renee.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about, for those of us in the audience who don't know, what is a STEAM coach?
So it's a combination of peer coaching that we have the ability that we can help teachers learn how to incorporate STEAM into lessons that they already are teaching in their classroom. So STEAM would be including science, technology, engineering, art, and math, and helping them see how those things are helping children prepare for 21st century jobs, and that they need to combine those things. So they're not actually doing more, they're just doing the same lesson, the same objective, the same vocabulary, just in a new way. We kind of call it through a STEAM lens. So we have the coaching opportunity to work with teachers kindergarten through 12th grade, and then I teach a middle school section in the afternoon.
So, and you're at a public school, so what's nice about that is you probably have a lot of technology available to use with teachers, to teach them how to incorporate that and use with students. So tell us a little bit about some of the technology initiatives and some of the technology available to teachers in the Tonawanda City School District.
So this is the third year of our program, and we have, over the last 3 years, we have incorporated a coding and robotics program from pre-K through 12th grade. So we have it aligned straight through, and as coaches, we've added 2 more coaches as well. So one coach focuses on the curriculum of K to 2, another one 3, 4, 5, and then I have moved into mostly middle school and high school aspect of it, as well as helping to write grants to get more technology.
So coding and robotics, I was surprised to hear you mention that at such a young age. Give us an example of some types of projects students might do where they're learning to code or program at the elementary level, for example.
So we would coordinate that. One of the lessons that we've done in the past, a specific one, is we incorporate it with a writing lesson when teachers are writing a typical how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, how to make an ice cream sundae. So we change that and use robotics in there, because you have to write how to program this robot. So the kids are actually writing the program, and then all of a sudden you're just like, so just put that into writing now. And it's their whole how-to piece of how they programmed it to do what they wanted it to do. So we can incorporate it right into ELA, and kids that were possibly not motivated to be writing before have it just written, and those are usually the kids that are motivated by that as well.
Mm-hmm. Because they really want to share what they did and how they programmed their robot, and do they get to actually program a robot to do something that they want it to do, or
Yep.
how does that?
Yep.
So
kindergarten through 5th grade, the robots that we have are already built, and it's strictly working on the coding and programming. At middle school level, the robots are not built, so we work on kind of taking a step back, and they have to actually build them, learn all the parts of inside the motor, gear ratios, building the robot, and then that continues through, and then they can program it once they have it built. So adding the piece of the construction of it and the engineering and the design of it. And then at our high school level, they do the engineering and design, and they actually have competitions and enter competitions in other school districts.
Wow, that is really neat. What can they program the robot to do at the elementary level? Like, what are some of the things that students are writing about that they're programming the robot to be able to do and show other peers and show their teachers?
So that would depend on the robots that they're using. Our pre-K and K students have robots that you don't need to be able to read for. They are programming them just with symbols. So they might build a maze and program it to go through the maze. They might just have something that they wanted to start here and know the distance. They could include it in math of how they have to program it to get to a certain distance and stop before it breaks something, or stop when it does break it. At the next level, the robots that we have for 2, 3, 4 or 2, 3 can be programmed to play music, and so the students can be writing music with it, as well as responding with those ones. Those ones are dash and dot robots that communicate with the kids. We have some other ones for other nonverbal students that are called Ozobots that can be programmed to do specific tasks, and the programs are written as opposed to with language, they're written with colors. So kids that might be nonverbal could also use them by programming by just writing a red stripe, a green stripe, and those make it do different fun things in the order that you put the colors in. And those ones for even lower students, they can just draw lines and the robots will follow the lines. So we would do like paths of explorers, and the kids could program them then to follow the path of the explorer, to follow the path of pollination through a plant. So once you know the path of pollination, you can show it by programming your robot to drive through there.
So you can differentiate the robots that you give students based on their ability or based on their grade level and their age, so that it's age appropriate for the students to use.
Yes.
But you're working on the same concept, which is learning the programming and the coding at such a young age to really program their minds almost to think analytically and to think in terms of a 21st century kind of technological way that students need to be prepared for nowadays. And
Yes.
you really are preparing them to be 21st century learners.
Yes.
That's great.
We have 3D printers as well in all of our schools, so the kids have 3D printing lessons. We have virtual and augmented reality in all of our schools. Our middle school this year has drones, and all of our students have one-to-one Chromebooks, so that we can be working on any of the stuff with Google as well with them.
So you have one-to-one computing, and you also have 3D printers. Tell our audience, for those that may not know, what can 3D printers do?
So we use a child-based CAD program so they can start to learn to design in 3D on screen. And it uses a type of plastic that melts it through, and it almost looks like the stuff that's in a weed whipper. And as it melts through it, whatever the child had designed comes out 3D printed all the way around. So as they're designing it, they can see all sides of it and up and down, and then as it prints, they can print out an actual object.
Now, have you found that since you implemented this program with the STEAM coaches, how long ago was that in your district?
This is just our third year.
Third year. So have you noticed, you haven't had any students that have graduated high school yet, having been through the program, but have you noticed that students are more interested in technology, or has there been an increase in their interest in mathematics or science or anything along those lines?
We definitely see an interest in engagement and in vocabulary use. We're able to, if we're doing something, we're able, as peer coaches, somebody can come in and observe a lesson. So if we're trying something new, we might ask one of even just the other coach or the classroom teacher to come in and watch what's going on, because classroom teacher stays in there as well, so that next year, whatever lesson you coached them on this year, hopefully they would teach it, and you can help them design another lesson to go with their unit or to go with another chapter of something, so that eventually most of their lessons have a STEAM basis in them for students. And we're noticing that just to be able to communicate and get to use the technology that they want to use, that the kids are so engaged with, they need to use the vocabulary. We are doing stop motion videos with claymation that in the past the teacher would have had the kids draw the growth stages of a plant. It was a great lesson, but we just traded that up, that we, instead of growing that, or instead of the students drawing them, we had them make them with clay, took pictures, put it into an app, and made them into claymation. So the students had to use the technology, which they wanted to, but they had to use the vocabulary to tell their partner, no, it's not time to add the staple, no, it's not time to add the stem. We wouldn't have that many leaves yet, so they had to use the vocabulary to do well at the project.
To be able to have their slides be accurate for that stage of growth.
Correct.
For the plant. And I think I wonder if the teachers have noticed, do they remember more the stages of the plant development and the parts of the plant, having actually had it be 3D and manipulate the clay and do that sort of thing?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I would imagine that would be so. Wow, what wonderful things you're doing at Tonawanda City School District.
Who educates and assists our state students, provides medical care and support, and strengthens our communities? We do. NYSUT members are classroom teachers, college faculty and staff, nurses, and healthcare professionals. We're cafeteria workers, bus drivers, teacher aides, and teaching assistants. We're more than 600,000 caring, supportive professionals living and working in communities across New York State. We are NYSUT. We make a difference.
Now tell us a little bit about your lesson that we'll see today, because I know we had our cameraman Victor Poza come out to your classroom and film a little bit of your teaching and what you were working on with students. So tell us a little bit about what our audience is going to see.
So in our 6th grade classroom, there is not formal lessons that happen. It's an exploration for students. And so they have 4 stations that they could be at. There's a coding and programming station, a robotics and engineering building station, a 3D printing and design station, and an augmented and virtual reality station. So when the photographer was there, we had children working in all of the stations, and it gives the kids a chance that if something is interesting to them, they can take it way past what would normally be constrained to them. So it isn't a formal lesson that he was able to see. He kind of went around, talked to children that were there, and seeing them explore. And
now we've talked a little bit about what 3D printing is and what coding is. What is the augmentative, what did you say?
Augmented reality.
Augmented reality, and there was something else that went along with that.
Virtual reality.
Virtual reality. Tell our viewers a little bit about what that is and how it can be applied in the classroom.
So virtual reality is more of an opportunity that kids, or whoever is doing it, your eyes are actually covered by goggles or something, so that you're the character within the program that you're using. It mostly applies to gaming of what's happening right now. It's moving more into education now that teachers are wanting it, but it's mostly applied to gaming. We have augmented reality stations, and what augmented reality is, that it's still 3D. You are still you're still in the classroom that you're in, but you're interacting with whatever's on the screen in 3D. So we have the opportunity to have kids work with, we have Newton's laws of motion, and we can change the gravity in the background, we can change the speed, we can change the weight of a ball that they might be building a chain reaction machine with, and they can change those things right there in 3D and manipulate all of those things right as they're playing. We can manipulate electrical circuits, and so it can give an example of a circuit that's broken and they have to repair it, and it's much safer because nothing is catching fire or batteries are not burning out, and they can have more opportunity for trial and error and actually learning, because it's just right there, and it's in 3D, and they can manipulate it as much. There's also we have a program that has an app. They call them apps on here. They've changed from programs to calling them apps, of dissection. So they can dissect a motor, they can dissect an airplane, they can dissect a volcano, frogs, people, all in 3D. So if there are students that have ethical reasons for not wanting to do dissections as well, they could be doing them on here in 3D.
That is really neat. Wow. So tell us, Google Cardboard, what would that fall under if students are using Google Cardboard?
Virtual reality.
Virtual reality, okay, because I've seen that starting to be used more and more in some of the classrooms that we're visiting, we're seeing Google Cardboard, and so students are actually then placed at the scene. When they put the goggles on, it seems as though they're in a new place
Yes.
of whatever they're studying. So if they're
Yes.
studying dinosaurs, and they might be brought back to the time of the dinosaurs. When they put the Google Cardboard, it's almost like goggles that they
Yes.
put on, really kind of neat. So let's go inside Mrs. Brady's classroom and see what students are doing at Tonawanda Middle School.
So Dante is working on our VEX Robotics, and part of what he's working on right now is he's built all of his simple machines, and he's getting ready to put them together to make a complex machine similar to a Rube Goldberg machine. So Dante, can you show him some of the machines that you've built already?
When this hits this here, the pendulum will go into the what's it called? The pulley, which will go down, making this go up, making the car thing go into here.
The playful time. We need notes. They're not Okay, I got 2 of those.
Whatever it may be.
Okay, so these girls have finished their simple machines, and then they put them into a complex machine, and they've moved on to building their robot. Can you girls show some of the parts that you have so far?
So we have just one side of our robot so far. And then we're about to build the other side.
What pieces have you used so far? Tip that sideways so you can see it, and show them the pieces that you've used in there.
So we have these gears, right? And wheels, and we have a motor for this, and then we have to duplicate this. Yeah. And then on this we have the little pins, and then the 2 wide, 1.5 corner connectors.
And what will that piece hold?
It will hold the 2 parts of the robot together like this. We just have to build the other side and connect it. Yeah. That's about all we got.
Excellent. So this is Alyssa. She's a very skilled coder, and she has been coding some games for us this school year.
Oh, this is one of my arts. This is Promise Pets. It's actually something I like. I enjoy it. Pixel art is pretty much what you can do with anything.
So the pixel art is that you go into Google Sheets, and you can design by creating,
This way?
by coloring each pixel that's on the screen. Here you go, Elias.
Yeah, you just like see how it says like A, B, C, D or any of that stuff. So pretty much if it's like A, B or C, B, it doesn't really matter, but whatever you want to make is possible.
Okay, Elias and Anthony, you guys want to stop for a second and show Victor what parts you're working on in your robot? Their robot is at another next kind of step here.
We are building the audio.
You have to talk a little bit louder. What parts have you put onto it?
Oh, we just put on the corner chassis.
The corner chassis.
And then we're going to put on, we already have here. We need the 2x8. We need a 2x8.
What are the parts that you have on there already? What's that top part?
This.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a control system. Robot. That's the robot. That's not the robot brain.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, it's a robot brain.
Yeah. And that's where you would do your programming to get it to work, right?
Yeah.
And the controller then to
And then there's
control
the
it.
controller. Wheel.
We need a 2x8.
Good. Thank you.
Let me put this on real quick.
What are those called? Goodbye, girls. The sensors. What sensors did you put on?
We put on,
Some of these.
what's this one called?
Look on the side of the bin that you put on.
This one's called gyro sensor. The gyro sensor, and this one's also a gyro sensor. Or gyro. Wait, we're gonna need another wire, right? Alright, let me grab that.
Of the black. There you go. These guys need to start cleaning up. So this is our Z-Space experience. It is aligned with the kids' complete lessons are in here to align with their math and science curriculum for 6th grade. And what it does is it puts things into augmented reality. And there are two sets of glasses. One is a sensor set, so you can work with a partner, and the sensor set helps to control what's happening on the screen. And the other set is just for a partner to be working with them, so we can have 2 kids on a machine at a time. And this is just a Z-Space experience that they're doing right now, a practice page to practice working with the stylus and practice getting used to wearing the glasses and what the exact lessons we'll be working with.
You can feel it beating.
You can do 3-dimensional dissections inside here, 3-dimensional CAD drawings of buildings and architecture. Three-dimensional work with circuits.
Ew.
What? No, those come off. She's working on some of our 3D printing. We use Tinkercad, that is a free online program for the kids to draw and design.
No, it was already on
And some finished, she's working on something she's designing right now, and some finished projects are on the table there waiting for kids to pick them up. And our printer is over here. I think they're about $1,000.
Yeah, I think when this thing rises up and like then 3D prints this thing.
I had got it down.
You were amazing.
You guys want to show them the last couple of pieces? You know the names of the things
You can rely on your union. We're always by your side, safeguarding your workplace rights, advocating for fair pay and benefits, and ensuring you have a voice on the job. You work hard. Isn't it nice to know your union works hard for you? You and your union. Together, we stand up for our students. We strengthen public education and healthcare. Together, we make a difference.
We're back on Inside the Classroom with Renee Brady from Tonawanda City School District, esteemed coach. Thank you for joining us. What a great lesson.
Thank you.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about what other responsibilities you have with the school district. Are you working on any grant opportunities for students to experience new technology?
Several things that I do during the day is I work on making community connections. We have a connection with the Herschel Carousel Museum in North Tonawanda, and they have a museum curator that comes to our district and does lessons with the students. And then they go there to have a field trip and make the connections between simple and complex machines that go into carousels, as well as the pipe organs, and she works with our music teacher, and the kids get to see the coding. They kind of make the connection between how the pipe organs and the player pianos are actually the beginning stages of coding. And she teaches the lessons with those kids, and we tie it in there. So I go around making those connections. We have a connection with YMCA Camp Keenan. They bring snowshoes out for the kids. We have connection with some engineers at PreK that come and talk to the kids about specific engineering things. So I'll go out and find those people. A new connection we're making this year is with the aquarium, and possibly bringing some class pets in during our life science units, and helping kids have some firsthand experience, but just for a short time if a teacher doesn't want it there all year. I write some grants. This year, our biggest grant that we got is with the Student Space Flight Program through NASA. So we are designing an experiment that will be sent into space on the International Space Station and be performed there. And we'll perform it again at the same time in our classroom to make comparisons of the experiment happening on Earth and in microgravity. So we're in the middle of that project right now.
Wow, what wonderful opportunities you have for students in the Tonawanda City School District. That's just amazing. And really getting them prepared for the next level and thinking about careers already. What ages are hearing presentations from the PreK engineers and other professionals that you're bringing in? At what grade are you starting that?
We try to get somebody, at least one for each grade. throughout the year. But as this is our third year, we gather more, we have that connection, and we're always looking for more. So at least one per grade during the year. And we do point out a lot of opportunities. Kids know that an engineer, they want to grow up to be an engineer because they just think you build things. We help them understand that there's different types of engineers. If you're an artist, you might be great at drawing, but what could you use that skill for to have it as a career? So we spend a lot of time pointing out career paths as well.
That's wonderful, because you're really getting students to think about, okay, what do I need to do to be successful in a career and sustain a career, and really, if I wanted to do this over my lifetime, what does it entail? What does it involve? So that when they're starting college, they're not changing majors. They would pretty much have an idea of, okay, this is what I want to do with my life, and this is what I want to do with my career. Well, I have to say that I am so impressed with another one of our amazing public schools, and I think that's what I love so much about public education. You know, I teach at Lewiston Porter, and I've been a teacher for 23 years now, and it just, we have so many opportunities for our kids in public schools, and we take all students, regardless of their abilities or disabilities or behavior issues. I mean, we have students from all different socioeconomic backgrounds in our schools, and we give as many opportunities as we can for students that are interested in technology, that are interested in learning to code, or virtual reality experiences. I mean, there's just so much that we do between art and music and sports in the public schools that I really appreciate you coming today to highlight a lot of what we're doing with being at the forefront and on the cutting edge of technology, so that students are prepared for 21st century learning. So thank you so much, Renee.
Thank you.
We get you started early. We stay with you in middle school. We see you through graduation, college, and beyond, realizing potential every step of the way. We're New York State United Teachers, 600,000 professionals dedicated to excellence in public education. But that's not all. We also provide healthcare and human services to New Yorkers of all ages. We're NYSET, caring for patients, working for students, working with our communities.
Inside the Classroom is brought to you by NYSET, a union of more than 600,000 professionals dedicated to education, human services, and healthcare. NYSET is proud to partner with parents in advocating for what students need. We stand for excellence in public education from preschool through postgrad. Find us online at nyset.org.